together in a very small utilitarian hallway, and I instantly realized that the basement area must not stretch the full length and width of the building and basement levels above. In the hallway, we were confronted by three closed doors. They had no signs or labels, only numbers 1, 2, 3. For some reason, that struck me as funny. What's behind door number 1? I said. Kayla wasn't amused. But then, she'd been here before. That's the apartment. You should look at it. I don't want to waste much time there. The offices in 2, in the exam room and lab in 3. And the more important. Just an apartment, I said. We can skip it, the lab. No, you ought to see. Kayla was hunching her shoulders. She slipped Dr. Wyatt's card key into the slot next to the first door, put her hand on the knob, turning it when the mechanism unlocked the door. Want me to take the rabbit? I asked. No. She had both arms cradling Fufu again. She used her hip to nudge the door open and jerked her chin for me to follow her inside. I did. We entered the living dining area of a furnished apartment. There was plush, off-white wall-to-wall carpet on the floor and pale yellow paint on the walls. The sofa, love seat, and chair, upholstered in denim, were clustered around an oak coffee table in the living room area. Beyond them was a small oak dining table and chairs. Next to that, beyond a pass-through window, there was a kitchen and stainless steel appliances. On the walls hung framed art prints, the Picasso drawing of a hand holding flowers, Doors of Boston, a 1920s poster with production advertising a cruise. It was a pleasant, neutral living space, with only one anomaly. There were clear signs that one or more small children were expected and welcome. A tall bookshelf against one of the walls in the living room held bright red and yellow plastic containers of toys, as well as a large collection of picture books. I spotted a rubber duck, a teddy bear, and a doll dressed like a pioneer girl. Lastly, besides the bookcase stood an enormous canister of Tinker Toys, which made me remember my first meeting with Dr. Wyatt. Without speaking, Kaylin and I prowled, discovering a bathroom and 2 bedrooms. The first bedroom had a queen-size bed, but the second was again furnished for young children, with sturdy bunk beds and the more shelves of toys and games and books. A crib and bassinet stood in one corner. On the walls were children's posters, Mickey Mouse and Oscar the Grouch and Sailor Moon and Barney. I looked at it all and knew what my father had feared was true. Kayla was watching me. My voice was level when I spoke. He made more of us, didn't he? More children like you and me. Our mother's children. Yes, said Kayla. There are a few others now. 3 toddlers and 1 baby. I thought I was ready to hear it, but I wasn't. I turned abruptly and left the room. When I reached the living room, I found I had to sit down. I did on the sofa. They must all be chimeras, I thought. That would have been the scientific lore that tempted Dr. White. He wanted to see if he could use transgenic technology successfully in humans. And Kayla, too, must have been a chimera. My dry one theory no longer had much credibility. At least, I didn't believe in it. Kayla had followed me to the living room. Listen, she said. For the longest time, it was just me, and you. But then, Quincy built this place. He told me the other day, when he showed it to me, that scientific techniques had improved. He had more certainty of success now, and so it was finally time. Before, he didn't want to waste any of the material, the eggs. I guess he tried it before, after you and me, and it didn't go well. He lost several. Well, he lost several. I was watching her, but I wasn't really seeing her. I was seeing Dr. White. He told me I was a miracle, Kayla said. A 1 in a million beginner's luck. Her voice was impassive. I couldn't tell what she thought. 4 new children, I finally said. And they visit this place for what? Quincy got a whole battery of tests and evaluations, both physical and psychological. They take several days to run through because he doesn't want the subject to be too stressed or anxious, and it's best if it feels like a game. The environment should be as calm and controlled as possible, relaxing, home-like, private of course, with a nice calming adult nearby. The mother, if possible. The mother? I repeated. The adoptive mother, Kayla clarified unnecessarily. Why does he test the children? I asked. I was breathing more easily. They're just development tests. Intensive, but nothing really weird. Was Kayla's gaze sharper now as it rested on me? Actually, I'm pretty sure you took the adult physical test. The adult physical battery test yourself, Eli. The one I've been taking twice a year. He told me that he sent you over to Mass General Hospital before you started working here. I frowned. Yes. Judith Ryan, this human resources, told me my employment was conditional upon a full physical exam. And now I remember telling Liv about the test. Remember her saying, offhandedly, that the garden shop hadn't bothered to even ask about her health. let alone send her for a physical. What a fool I had been. Quincy was pretty excited, like Kayla was saying. I think he considered you to be irretrievable data. At some point, mark my words, he'll approach you about doing the full test suite. Kayla, I said. I looked around the apartment and gestured, unable to find words. Confused thoughts about X-Men and Spider-Man and various fictional genetically mutated or otherwise altered superheroes and monsters chased each other through my head. Swampy. Question upon frantic question crowded into my head, and then was interrupted by the next one. A lifetime might not be long enough to find all the questions and answers to them, along with the final essential question. Who was I? Was I a chimera too? Or was I merely what my mother had asked for, an ordinary HD negative human being? I knew the answer. If I had been born before Kayla, there might have still been room for doubt, but I had not been. I looked up then and realized that Kayla had been watching me. I've been tested again and again since before I can remember, she said gently, carefully. I still had no words, but I managed to nod, and Kayla nodded as well, and I saw deep in her eyes the twin of the suppressed fear that I felt, and the same question, who am I? What am I? Then Kayla swallowed and continued, I wasn't tested here, though. This place is pretty new, just 4 years, and I'd never seen it before. Quincy showed it to me the other day. My parents and I used to visit Quincy at his country place in Vermont. Uncle Quincy? Was that bitterness in her voice? I couldn't quite tell. And she had lowered her face as she called Fufu. All the tests, I thought we were just playing games. I used to look forward to going. Kayla, I said. Kayla, do you know? I stopped. She looked up. Know what? Know exactly what he did to us, I said. What he did to our genetic structure? What was altered or added or changed? And what has he done to, I can hear my father's voice, my children, my responsibility. To our sisters and brothers, I finished. Kayla shook her head. I stood up. Doors 2 and 3, lab and office. I bet it's all in there. And that's really where you're headed, isn't it? Yes. Let's go, I said. And probably I thought I'd find out about the others, Dad. I promise.